Get in, nerds. We are playing Victoria 3. We are in the middle of a tense election as we try to get a little bit of legitimacy into our government. I've got an extra army kicking around here, which I think I can safely not have anymore without a problem. So, what else are we doing? We're building up iron. And that's right. Yes, we're building up the Philippines. I think now is actually probably a good time to finish annexing our... Oh, no. Actually, no. Because we got a lot of infamy. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Well, that was weird. Game's running a little slow today. Lots to manage in this patch. I think I can safely ignore all of these diplomatic well, this one's almost done, but... Athabasca mass immigration. From Canada. Interesting. Socialist internationalism. The Congress Party is receiving election campaign support from the communist trade unions in Italy. So, comrades, comrade, in the last fight at his face, the Internationale unites the human race. Italian socialists are welcome here, extra momentum, more communists in the country, or try to limit foreign influence. I'm going to try to limit foreign influence. It's going to give us less momentum for the Congress Party, but the Congress Party is reasonably strong. Wow, there's a Polish uprising happening in Prussia. That's a surprise. All right, and here comes the election. So this'll tell us where we're going to wind up in terms of everything, and then we'll take a look at how our politics have changed since independence, because some things are different. All right. Udayanachara Valmiki is done being president. New president is Padmanavadeva Rao. All right, so this is interesting. Let's go ahead and create a coalition of the Congress and Liberal blocs. Marginalized interest groups of the armed forces, the Hindu priesthood, and the Zamindars, not shockingly. And that is rock solid. So the leader of the trade unions is actually the leader of the country, which is really exciting. So, our free trade party is comprised of just our industrialists. In the marginalized groups, we have the armed forces, the Hindu priesthood, and the Zamindars. The presidency armies, or the Army of India, is now just the armed forces. I think their abilities are the same, but they're no longer called the armed forces. The Zamindars are now they're called the armed forces. The Zamindars are the same. It doesn't look like they've changed ideology. The Hindu priesthood, however, have. As you can see, Hindu moralists, now that we're India, and Hindus are state religion, the Hindu priesthood endorsed state religion as their preferred policy, rather than endorsing total separation, which is a shift. Now that their religion is the primary religion of the country, they're perfectly happy with state religion. I don't think the armed forces have changed. Yeah, I think these are just the baseline ones. The industrialists obviously have completely shifted to the default industrialists set. Their abilities are the same, so they still provide extra bureaucracy and reduced enactment time and extra qualifications, but their preferences are different. They're laissez-faire ists, which is the default stance of the industrialists. They're individualists, which is another default stance, and they're plutocratic, which is, again, all straight down the ticket industrialist stuff. They're pretty weak overall in the country. Next, the civil servants are basically the same. They're still constitutionalists, liberals, anti-slavery, and anti-clerical. One of the big differences is the Bhadraloks. They're still meritocratic and they're still patriotic, but they didn't get. Normally, they get an ideology called reactionary, which is a preference for national supremacy and monarchy, among other things. They didn't get that. They've kept modernizer. So this is going to help us get a lot of stuff done as things go on. Do I have anyone here who prefers public school? I think most people do. Civil servants are neutral. But please tell me the... Do I... Hold on. Oh, well, hold on. No. We've completed the path to liberalism. And all it took was an election. Alright, here we go. So we're better now. So, the trade unions would support a shift over to public schools, which I'm absolutely going to do. That's going to put literacy through the roof, and that's going to be really useful. I think the next thing I'm going to do after that is to go from restricted child labor to compulsory primary schooling. That's going to irritate the industrialists, but I can completely live with that. Multiculturalism, well, no one's particularly happy with now, but it is what it is. It's the law of the land, and we're going to keep it. So, let's get started with public schools. Freedom, equality, and brotherhood. The civil servants, under the leadership of Ratnesh Shukla, have ushered in an era of liberal politics that promises a freer society where all citizens have a part in the political process. You will find many ideologues who claim to represent the will of the people, but who silence its voice when it cries out in opposition to their policies. Not we. We will remember the people's shackles. We will remove the people's shackles one by one until they are freed of the yoke of the past. Only then can we see that the will of the people, what the will of the people truly is, and let it shape the future. Shukla is a fearless visionary. He becomes more popular, adds 2 journal entries. All these are going to add journal entries, but only this one makes him more popular. Other political leaders would be wise to follow this trend. Valmiki, the head of the Bhadraloks, becomes a radical. Interesting. That would be nice for me in the short term. Or perhaps the voice of reason is needed before this all gets too radical. Jalapala Raksel, the head of the armed forces, goes from being a protectionist to being a reformer. So, Valmiki is currently, he's the former president. He's currently a moderate. So what would this change? The Bhadraloks are currently... So let me see. Radical, let me just check. Radical is universal suffrage, alright, that's good. Governance principles, they like republics, free speech, guaranteed liberties, public schools. Actually, this would be very good. Because, as it stands, the patriotic trait that the Bhadraloks have is opposed to protected speech and right of assembly, as well as guaranteed liberties, which we have. So swapping him over to a radical would be super good. That's also made the Bhadraloks very happy, which has enabled their cooperative agency's ability. So now we've got a few more journal entries. Oh! We have a situation. Agarwali nihilist revolts. Austria is improving relations. Wonderful. I'm just going to send the Central Indian Defense Force to deal with this situation. So what are we doing technologically? We're working on... Yes! Yes! We're working on NCO training. What else does our market need? It's a very small number of... I'm going to build some shipyards somewhere else. I'm going to build a shipyard in the Philippines. How about that? Where are my shipyards? Aw, so good at video games. Here we go. All of our shipyards are unprofitable. Luzon is really low on market access. That's a problem. Build some levels of shipyards. Alright, how short on market access are you, Luzon? Wow, quite a bit. Alright, let's get some railroads going. I'm going to throw these up at the top of the queue, because they need to get built fast. How bad is construction efficiency here? Pretty bad. TBH. Alright, how is our power block doing? It's going to be a while before we get mandates. We're going to continue to lose... Assam is not feeling good about us. We are in the process of improving relations, are we not? We're not. We need to do that. We need to improve relations with all of our subjects. Because that's what's making our situation untenable here. Alright, and we're working with all the others, so that'll be fine. That'll be just fine. That having been said, it's definitely going to be time to annex them sooner rather than later. There's Home Affairs at level 4. How much more? So it's 3,100 bureaucracy per level. Education is lower bureaucracy cost under private than it is under public. Yeah, so we're going to need to build up a little bit more government in order to support the effectively the increased institution. So let's go ahead and do that. Let me see, what event do we have? Academic assistance. The teachers of our higher institutions of learning have offered to advise the government in the implementation of the new public schools. There are certainly differences between teaching children the fundamentals and the more advanced education offered at our universities. Nevertheless, as architects of the upper floors of this towering structure of knowledge, we believe the least we can do is provide some insight into how the foundation should be built. They could be of help finalizing the bill, one entire phase. Their research work is more important, 10% enactment chance. Or I'll be happy to have their help, 20% enactment chance, minus 50% throughput. I got 54% enactment chance due to the Bhadraloks being for this. I'm just going to take a phase. Hey, that's just fine. Rock solid, in fact. So, I've got bananas income. Am I constructing my entire... I'm not. So, I think at this stage, building up the construction industry is the most sensible way to go about things. If I've got the steel, the coal, and the iron to handle it, which I think I do. So let me see. Are we out? Have I run myself out of labor in Delhi? Not even a little bit. Alright, beautiful. So, let's build some steel infrastructure here in Delhi. How much infrastructure capacity do we have? Oh, we're way over. We're doing terribly, in fact. Let's build 10 levels. Our railways each produce like 15 or 25 or something, so that should be enough. I had no idea we were doing so bad. Let me actually flip over to the states interface. Make sure we're not... Okay, we are short on taxation capacity in some areas. Yes, I've completely outrun my my infrastructure in Delhi, which is interesting. Alright, we're actually short on taxation capacity in quite a few areas. I had no idea. I had no idea it was so bad in Hyderabad. Yeah, that's taxation capacity right there. Interesting. So, first things first, we're going to need... we actually don't need any extra infrastructure, although I'll build a few, because we should always have plenty of levels of railways. And then I'm going to build 24 levels of government admin. Gujarat, I'm going to need 3. Rajputana, I'm going to need 3. Punjab Hills, I'm going to need 3. Technically only 2, but It's nice to have a little bit ability to flex. Bashtunistan 1, Orissa 3, Assam 1, Assam 2, Malwa 2, Kashmir 3, Malaya, I'm going to need one more. Bundelkhand, I'm going to need one more. Baluchistan, I'm going to need my first one. Golly. And then going up from Hyderabad, Gujarat, I'm going to need 3. Karnataka, I'm going to need 5. We'll go up to 40 just to round off the numbers there. Bihar, we'll do another 2. West Bengal, another 3. Anyway, that's going to take some time, but almost none, frankly. And then it's going to be time to increase the size of the construction sector. So, in fact, I'll probably do that first, because I'm pretty much completely maxed out on cash, if we're being honest with ourselves. Let's go ahead and build up Hyderabad. Hyderabad needs 10 levels of construction. Central Provinces needs... Hyderabad's got a lot of population available, right? Yeah, absolutely. Malwa, too, I think, is going to have an increase in construction. Oud. Western Himalayas. And Eastern Himalayas. Hey, we're in voting. Nice. Alright, what does that do? That's a 154, 50% increase, 20% increase. I think that's completely fine. I'm going to throw those in at the top, because those will get built really, really, really fast. Super duper fast. So, Great Britain's going after Bulangan to reduce their autonomy. I could potentially get involved. Do I no longer have a truce with Great Britain? I do. But I can get involved as a result of this. That having been said, I want other things from Great Britain, so not going to worry about it. Russian Republic is going after Khiva, which is what it is. Alright, so I'm not going to get involved in either of these. We'll go ahead and let these go. Russian Republic's trying to steal all of Khiva. We'll say radicalism is going down and loyalism is going up now that we have legitimate government, and I'm extremely pleased with that outcome. I gotta make sure we have the capacity to continue to grow at the speed we're growing at, though. Bahrain wants into the power block. Oh, wants to host an embassy. Bahrain. You're a Russian protectorate. Sure. That's interesting. Oh, right. I can build power block statues now. Power block statues are cool. They do something. I forget what. Let's find out together. Let's find out together by taking a look at building one in Delhi. So they provide 5 influence, 3 prestige, and extra pop political strength. Alright, cool. So maybe... And what do they take to build? How long? 2,500 construction compared to, say, a motor industry which takes 800. Okay, so they take a really long time to build. But you know what? We're a strong power block. Where do they show up in this, in the building list? I assume at the bottom. Yes, here we go. I'm going to build a power block statue in every state. Oh boy, you're going to hear that sound effect a bunch of times. Excuse me. I was building power... Crash the cymbals! Alright. Let's do more. Alright, anyway, that's going to take some time. Ankol talent. We see an opportunity to call in the obligation Ankol owes us by requesting the service of one of their commanders, Aren Watuta. Not everyone is afforded the opportunities they deserve in their home country. We're an ambitious nation, one that will make better use of his skills than they ever could. He's a traditionalist aligned with the landowners. He's a cruel, stalwart defender, and a surveyor. That doesn't really appeal to me. This obligation is worth more than the skills of one man. Now, you may be thinking, how did we get an obligation from Uncle? And the answer is, a foreign manifesto. There's an event when you're enacting certain reforms that give you an obligation from another country. The recently translated works of Jamal Khan have become popular within the peasant movement. The relationship has developed to the point of Jamal Khan openly endorsing the movement. So who is he? He is a pacifist, a Pashtun pacifist in Afghanistan aligned with the rural folk. And for a whole large class, there is no other road, especially for a nation so practical as the Indian. The great thing is to get the working class to move as a class, that once obtained, they will soon find the right direction, and all who resist will be left out in the cold, with small sects of their own. Our struggle is an international one, extra attraction for the peasant movement, or this foreign interference ought to be punished. Weaker peasant movement or active peasant movement, angry Ryots. I'm going to go with the first one. Stronger peasant movement's fine. Do I have the ability? I don't have the ability to go to collectivized agriculture right now. Not that I would do a communism out here, but, you know, I could do a communism. I could go for a little communism. Extra teachers. Oh boy, there's NCO training. Wonderful. Parents who have experienced teaching children at home are offering to assist as teachers in rural areas to facilitate the new public school system. Ask any of my neighbors, and they'll vouch for what I've done for the community, despite my lack of formal qualifications. Any child around here who already knew how to read, I taught. For me, it was a greater source of pride than anything I made with my own hands. It is fortunate that we have educated people, reduced agriculture throughput, 24% inaccurate success chance. But we must not let this distract from their work, 12% success chance. I'm definitely going to do the second one. Because I don't want to lose the agriculture throughput. Agriculture throughput is very, very important in our country. So, we've finished out NCO incorporation, and now we should have a new production method available in our barracks. I just hit the upgrade button, which means that our armies are going to be even stronger now. So now we have to figure out what we want to do with all this tech we got. Let me see. So basically, we're in tier 5 for military, but I want to circle back to production because there are some things I need. Number one, I need electric railways desperately. Mechanized farming and nitrogen fixation I can live without. Would love to have dough rollers. Would love to have compression ignition. So let's clear out the tier 4s. And then mechanized farming is already spreading, so we're definitely going to get there. And then we'll queue in compression ignition. Now in society, we're in tier 4 already. We got international exchange standards spreading. We got international exchange standards kicked off. And film is about to spread to us. That's fine. Alright, so I'm not too worried about any of that business. Oh, we have an event. Another event. Problematic policing. Police officers in uniform have been discovered supporting the Indian-British Association activity while on duty, lowering public confidence in the police force. A resident of Malwa comments on members of the police force patrol that walk by in pristine uniforms, with a hint of arrogance in their gait. Disdain drops from the onlooker's voice. These officers certainly think highly of themselves. They carry out errands for the Indian-British Association and accept their gifts. They ignore their duty to the people of Malwa. So, just out of curiosity, the Indian-British Association consists of the armed forces and the industrialists. Alright, so that's why the armed forces are so salty. As long as everyone's discreet, there's no harm. 5% of pops in Malwa become more radical and improves relations with Great Britain. Or we need to restore the public's confidence. Appeasement changes by -1, 5% become more loyalist. I'm going to go with the second one. I love getting more loyal pops. Obviously, having my industrialists in league with the British is not great. So let me ask myself a question. Do I have... in diplomacy, do I have investment rights from anybody? I do not. So at this time, Which way? I'm making about 300k from government dividends. I don't really need that cash, so I think it just makes sense to start privatizing. Because this will allow my pops to get buying industry. And that'll be nice. Doesn't seem like my plantation industries are very productive, but it is what it is. I'm going to keep the gold mines. For all that other stuff, this will generate some revenue for the government, but I don't... That's not really what it's for. It's really because it's really to get those dividends in the hands of my pops to increase standard of living and whatnot. What's my production method for financial districts? We're on publicly traded right now. Yeah, that's fine. Bureaucrats and shopkeepers are much preferable to clerks. Can't keep bureaucratic oversight for manor houses until or unless I've got state atheism. Which I don't have, and I'm probably not going to have. Alright, I can't wait any longer. Time to annex. Let's see, 7.3, 3.1, 3.1. Oh, interesting. Only Kota is going to potentially get involved. None of the others. I'm curious. But it's got to happen. What about Assam? 3.9. I wonder if I could do these all at once. I can't. Not while I'm in the middle of a diplomatic play. Alright, well that's fine. I only need a defense force for this. I'm just going to kick all these off one after another. I'm just going to grab them all. I'll be infamous for a little bit, but it is what it is. I'm not too worried about that. That's not something I need to concern myself with overmuch at this stage of the game. Because I've just hit rank 1 among the great powers. I'm still getting silly. Ooh, shortage of radios. Let's... Well, I know we can produce more radios. So let's produce more radios. We'll put them all on electrical production. And there's public schools. Wonderful. I'm going to follow on by immediately switching over to compulsory primary schooling. So that's going to start to really increase literacy. It's going to cost me more bureaucracy, but I've got plenty of government admin under construction right now, and then it's all statues all the time. So I think after that, what I need is a new navy. A new fleet. I'm going to put it in Bay as its home area. So let me see. Got 2 Bhadraloks guys and an industrialists guy. Grab one of the Bhadraloks guys. We'll grab the industrialists guy. And now we got a civil servants guy. Alright, beautiful. Do some promotions. And then the other 2 are Ryots. Bhadraloks. Alright, so that should be fine for now. Let's make ourselves some scout cruisers. I'm going to put 20 levels in Sindh, 20 levels in Baluchistan, 10 levels each in Gujarat and Bombay. And I'm going to put these above the power block statues, which are going to take forever. So I want those to get built, and that'll lock in our #1 position in all this stuff. Pakistan Defense Force, make sure I've got kind of a basically overwhelming force ready for application over here. And again, this is going to make our subjects disloyal, but it is what it is. I'm not too worried about it. We're improving relations with them. That's going to make our power block more cohesive, and that's what I want. There's film. Wonderful. I should be looking after our power needs a little bit more actively, but Just trying to make sure the economy is in balance. I'm going to drop taxes because I'm maxed out on cash right now. And I just need to remember that I've dropped taxes. That's gonna be the hardest part about this, is not forgetting that I reduced taxation. Hey, we're in study for compulsory primary school. That's wonderful. That's so great. Okay, so yes, because the diplomatic play is still happening. So we'll go after Assam next. I'm not going to give you more. I'm not going to give you more autonomy. In fact, I'm going to annex you. Oh my gosh, I just dropped taxes and cash flow is already back up. This is bananas. My economy is stonking thick. How's the radio situation? Did I deal with my radio issue? Yes, I did. Beautiful. What about telephones? How's telephones doing? Where are they? Telephones are expensive. Interesting. Guess that's imposing significant costs on the government, but it is what it is. There's quota dealt with. Come on. Yes! Excellent. Alright. With that being said, that is all the time we got for this episode, my nerds. I have had fun. I hope you all have had fun, and I'll see you on the other side.